Okay, so this is my friend. He is an active, real-world NATO fighter pilot, and today he's going to be using the DCS F-16 to try and beat me in the almighty MiG-29. I am once again using FFBeast, my full force feedback joystick, which I absolutely adore, that I've tuned for the MiG-29, and I'll try and not strain my hand too much as we get into what is an absolute death match here against my friend. Now, a lot of you will probably ask who this guy is. He would like to remain anonymous for now, so I have to respect that. And of course, some of you may say, well, I've just made that up, but it could be anybody. You're absolutely right. I could have done that, but I think for the majority of you that have been watching my channel for a while, probably know that I'm not all about getting clickbaity titles and lying and things of that nature. I think one day my friend might be a little bit more active on my YouTube channel, and perhaps we'll be able to introduce him and do some more flying together. But for now, he'd like to remain anonymous, so you'll just have to believe me that that is the case. So it's going to be super exciting for me and super difficult for me, of course. The F-16 is an almighty jet now with some improvements to its flight characteristics, flight dynamics by ED, and the MiG-29, of course, being an absolute beast of a 4th generation BFM fighter. This is going to be an absolutely incredible match to the death. As you'll see, it's going to get pretty gnarly. Also, it is my first time using my force feedback stick in a dogfight, and holy moly, is it absolutely phenomenal. You are really flying a real jet when you're experiencing this. So if you could get yourself FFBeast or any other force feedback joystick, I highly recommend. And also, just before we get into it, I do need to mention that the F-16 is using tracerless ammo, and the F-16 is at about 65% fuel, the MiG-29 at 100% fuel. So, without further ado, sit back and enjoy the ride.
We have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect the headset. We'll see you on the left with the pit. Thanks a lot.
And here we go, merging at just over 800 kph. And what I'm trying to do here is making sure that I do not go to circle with an F-16, because the F-16 will outrate a MiG-29. Although the MiG-29 is an extremely powerful and brilliant rate fighter, but against an F-16, which is the beast of rating, as you can see, I'm constantly trying to turn that into a one-circle fight. One thing I don't want to do is a 2-circle, and I definitely don't want to be in a vertical 2-circle fight where the F-16 and its power comes into play. So once again, just trying to reverse that, trying to keep that single circle as much as possible. And of course, once we get closer to the deck, that's going to be a little bit more tricky. I am trying to flush him out in front as much as possible. If I can get into a rolling scissors, I think the MiG-29 has a slight advantage. And with a force feedback stick, quick snapshot there, it was always going to be very difficult. And with a force feedback stick, I actually have a little bit more tactile feel and understanding of my aircraft's energy state, even without having a hammocks or a helmet mounted sight, because as you can see here, of course, I need to keep my eyes on the target, so I need to guesstimate a little bit as to what my airspeed is. Of course, I want to get my corner speed on some occasions, and on some occasions I want to do min radius and yak the stick back as much as possible. It's always a balancing act, but with a force feedback stick, I can actually tell a little bit as to what's happening with my airplane without seeing the HUD, and that is because the MiG-29, as we come in for a very quick snapshot here in the sun, so can't really get a good idea where I was aiming, so just had to be lucky in that one. Obviously it didn't really work out, so the F-16 transitioned that into a little bit of a 2-circle now, where the MiG-29 isn't great, but I am closing that with a min radius turn to try and get that snapshot and make him reverse his 2-circle, and which is exactly what he does now, which is exactly what I wanted. Now he starts jinking all over the place. The F-16, the jinkiest fighter of all time. It is such a small platform and changes direction so rapidly that actually in a situation like this, trying to get your gun sight in a MiG-29, which is fairly lethargic, although extremely maneuverable, but relatively lethargic at low speed, trying to get your sight onto him is just extremely difficult. So he transitions that now into rolling scissors because he has to, and this is where the MiG-29 can sort of have a bit of an advantage, I think, over an F-16. But like I was saying, now the stick actually, when I get it to super slow speed, there's a SOS system in Russian in the MiG-29, which is prevents the pilot from exceeding maximum critical alpha and stalling the airplane. and you can actually feel, with a force feedback stick, you can actually feel the stick physically moving forward in your hand, which is absolutely phenomenal. Quick snapshot again, didn't get him, a little bit unlucky there. And I can actually, which I've only learned recently, go through that system, or rather bypass that system, which prevents the aircraft from stalling. In a situation like this, where you just need to eke out an extra couple of degrees, or even 1 degree, it's sort of equivalent to the Mirage 2000 elastic paddle that they have. And in real life, the pilot simply pulls through that resistance point, which is trying to kick the stick forward. And you see me working with the rudder super hard, trying to get the MiG-29, absolutely phenomenal jet to fly in situations like this. It's so engaging, it's so hands-on. You'll see, quite frankly, it's feed on, as I tried to do a bit of a parabolic left rudder gun shot, which doesn't really work out. But like I was saying, the MiG-29's got this system, which is the anti-stall prevention system, that in real life the pilot can pull through physically when the stick is trying to get yanked forward in your hand. But in DCS, there's a Y key that you can bind to your HOTAS, which is what I'm using. So if you need just to eke out an extra couple of degrees somewhere like now, this is where it becomes extremely handy. And as you can see, this is becoming a pretty incredible match of life and death with a rolling scissors, constant rolling scissors here. And I think I just have an advantage here and there, but I constantly keep missing these snapshots. It is very difficult, of course, to do. The F-16 is so damn small. And now you'll see that I lose my advantage. And the F-16 is now neutralized it, potentially. Now I can see that lift vector is not looking good. I don't like this. He's on my 6. And it's looking a little bit dire for me now. I'm trying to reverse that, getting back to neutral. And I just about managed it. Now we're back to neutral. The F-16 flushes out in front. And here, completely reversed, hits me in the tail. Takes my stab off, and yep, I'm dead. So I hope you've enjoyed that pretty cool dogfight, if I do say so myself. Of course, I lost on this one, even though that I had the advantage for quite a while, but at the end of the day, all that counts is whoever flies away and lands their jet sort of wins. And in this particular case, I get obliterated, as you can see. So I hope you've enjoyed that kind of entertaining dogfight. If you have, please comment down below. I've got a few more coming up with my friend in a few different airplanes, and actually some of them are even more spectacular than this one. So with that said, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please make sure to subscribe for future videos, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.